Hello, my camel friends. For today's reading, of course, we have the camel. Let's see. I find it interesting that the moon is above the camel, and this is in the fire element, but the camel does have an association with water. So this could be the water in the fire element. This is something, I don't know if the Western elemental traditions teach this or not, that there's an aspect of the other elements inside each element, but it's pretty standard in 5-element theory in traditional Chinese medicine, so that's where I'm coming from. Okay, so first of all, the camel, resourceful, independent, knows one's self. That's so powerful. Emotional regulation. The camel can handle absolutely anything, as it carries a wealth of nourishment within. This wondrous creature is self-reliant and handles challenge with ease. Even in the face of excess heat, judgment, or anger, the camel searches inside for the cool elixir of water to calm the situation. The camel represents the ultimate form of bringing opposites into balance, fire and water, and being responsible for one's own reactions, emotional regulation. The camel is a wonderful traveler and is especially fond of trips to faraway lands. When in balance, calm, content, sparkle in the eye. When out of balance, dehydrated and lacks vitality. To bring it to balance, a pilgrimage. Yes, camels are travelers. Possibly a big theme for today, for this reading. Okay, so ant. Work, achievement, success, and of course being a good worker. That's what, we all know the story of the ant and the ant and the grasshopper. I can never remember if it's one ant or all of the ants, but in any case, you get the idea. The ant and the grasshopper. The ants prepare for the rainy day, they prepare for winter. They spend all their time collecting, harvesting, and storing. And the grasshopper just hops around having a good time. And the ants survive the winter, and the grasshopper does not. So, we have here a very ant-like camel. But we also have bat. Take care. Enemies are working against you. It doesn't specify. I mean, it could be work-related since it's here with the ant. And then we have bear, danger, especially in money matters, and diamond, you'll be giving or receiving a precious gift. That's really interesting that danger has come up next to this gift. So these are of course, your tea leaf cards, so they should all be familiar to you in some way, so that maybe that makes sense to you. Then we have axe, forces working against you, again. And dolphin, financial gain, usually coming from something you did in the past. I'm kind of thinking bonuses or commissions or something like that. I mean, it could be an inheritance. But you probably will not be surprised by it, would be my guess. So definitely some issues around material matters, especially with others trying to work against you in some way. All right, so with this receiving or giving a precious gift, that could definitely be a bonus check or something like that. But it could also be something else, maybe a birthday, who knows. All right, now I already shuffled out some of the tarot cards. Let's see if there's anything else we need, but let's see how it goes. So we start off with 10 of Wands. Wait a minute. I've got these backwards, I think. No, 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands, 3 of Wands, which is lots of fun because, there's an implication of travel with the 3 of Wands. 10 of Wands is being overburdened. Usually you're taking on other people's stuff, and you need to cut that out. So it's no wonder you're thinking about getting away from it all. With the 3 of Wands, that's usually somebody standing up on a cliff or something like that, looking out over a harbor where ships are coming and going. So it's definitely somebody who is looking into the distance and seeing possibilities, seeing potential, seeing, maybe your ship's coming in, but just as easily could be the possibilities of getting on one of those ships and going out to see the world. So there is always an implication of creativity as well. Then we have the Fool. So the Fool is taking the leap of faith. Maybe, you really want to take that leap of faith and get on a ship and go. And maybe you should. I don't know. It's your life. But we have a Ten of Cups here. So this may be the source of the forces working against you. Ten of Cups in the upright is a happily ever after kind of connection. So you've got your partner, your person, and you're living together happily, and it's emotionally fulfilling, and all your needs are taken care of. So it's a life of abundance in many ways. But with the Ten of Cups in this uncertainty position, you may feel like it's all falling apart. It hasn't completely fallen apart, and there is the potential for reconciliation or somehow fixing it, because this is not in reverse yet. So I feel like it's more of a threat than an actuality right now. Or maybe you've been talking about taking a pause, or that is the leap of faith you want to take, to talk about taking a pause. And once again, we have the Six of Swords and the Sun. The Six of Swords being about getting away from it all. So I really think this is a big theme for this reading, for this collective, is this idea of getting away from your troubles, at least temporarily, maybe just taking a vacation. I'm not sure what kind of creature that is. But they do seem to be enjoying the sun. They look like they might be taking a vacation. So I'm a little puzzled as to why there's a fish on the Six of Swords that's been impaled by the swords. Not at all the imagery I would think of for this card. But, all right. We know where you're at. You want to get out of Dodge. At least for a while. Now I started to do this reading earlier, which is why I have these cards already. So I started to do the Emperor's Emperor. Oh, that's an interesting slip. The universe's perspective on this. And I got the Moon. So definitely a lot of subconscious stuff that needs to be dealt with. I got a soulmate or supportive friend, faithful companion. Friendship turns to love. Could also be a pet or even a sibling. So it doesn't have to be a romantic connection. But there is a radical break from the past. So I think there is a sense that this connection needs, at the very least, a break, a separation, possibly a complete makeover, if it's to survive at all. Maybe it's not meant to survive. Who knows? We'll see what the universe has to say about all this. So definitely a sense of being tangled up in problems. No wonder you want to get away. And yet, persistence is what will pay off. Well, this is not at all a surprise. We have a hornet's nest of a situation. That's what happens when you have a breakup kind of situation. There aren't any cards here about reconciliation, at least not so far. So, a delicate situation, yes, very tangled, very difficult to deal with, especially if there are children involved. You definitely want to be careful about it. It's already toxic. Lots of hostility, conflict. Actions have consequences. I don't know whose actions, but just in case that's relevant. Now, for Lily, we have established ambition, experience, achievement, development. There's some other ones, but these are the ones that are coming out to me. So there is, I think, a very strong urge to get going in a different direction, to get established, to develop. Perhaps retirement is coming up, or maybe you're already retired. So this is, you just don't want to waste any more of your life on this, regardless of your age. But it's important to get a new perspective on this. We have the higher self, third eye, far-reaching vision. It may be that it is time to put on your walking boots and go on an adventure. Yes. All right. Well, I would remind you that you don't need to go far to have an adventure. If there are other responsibilities that you have, such as children, I definitely would not advise abandoning them. But you can, and it looks like you already are, at least planning on, thinking about taking a break from this person. There is the need to pursue your own path. Honestly, if it's a good connection, good relationship, then a supportive partner would definitely support you exploring your own path. That's what healthy partners do. So, you're looking for a healthy reciprocal relationship, hopefully. And definitely, you should be exploring yourself, exploring your own path. Maybe walking away, maybe just learning to be self-reliant. I saw somebody, a guy who talks about relationships and how to be in healthy relationships. And he said an interesting thing. You should always be ready to leave a relationship. That's kind of shocking when you first hear it, but it also makes sense because if it becomes toxic, then you need to be ready to leave. And even if it's only temporarily. I know that can be shocking. But nobody should be staying in a toxic connection. And I hope none of you are in that position. But travel is definitely on your mind. That is the theme here in this reading. Anything else universe has to say about this? So walking towards fulfillment, whatever that looks like for you, is definitely a good idea. So it's time for you to head towards a return to yourself, a return to who you are, who you were before, who you've always been, honestly. But that may have been covered up by social programming, familial programming, cultural programming, all this stuff that begins the moment you're born, honestly. So there is this death and rebirth. It does look like you are really going through something right now. It looks like there's some... So in the animal spirit deck, there's also an elephant, and that elephant has a very active third eye. And this one is also referring to lucid dreams, telepathy. So maybe some things are becoming clear to you or becoming known to you in different kinds of ways. And you do need to keep your wits about you. You have the ability, the potential to be powerful, to remove your obstacles, to develop wisdom. I'm not sure what trust means in these circumstances. Maybe trusting yourself. So you have to go through this phoenix, this catalytic rebirth experience, and a total transformation, complete renewal. That's how you get back to yourself, whoever you were as a child. And then as part of that process, these things are not separate. These are all part of the same process. And then you'll move from the camel to the elephant. The elephant being, I believe she calls it the most fortuitous. I opened right up to it. Auspicious, I think that's what she said. The elephant is arguably the most auspicious figure in the deck. Sorry. Like Ganesh, that's the Indian elephant god, the elephant represents immense wisdom as well as good fortune. It is said that the great elephant is the destroyer of obstacles. So if this card appears when you feel stuck, rest assured the path will soon become clear. To add to the mystery, the elephant is also known to create obstacles in order to steer us in the right direction. Trust this gentle, noble creature. It illuminates the way with the light of self-knowledge. The camel is also about self-knowledge. So it appears that your most important activity right now is getting to know yourself. There's a card in the tea leaf deck. It says something about a journey, mental or physical. And I think that's what's going on here. I don't think it is going to be physical for all of you, and I don't think it should be. This idea that you have to go on a physical journey in order to go through a transformation or spiritual awakening or anything like that is pretty much nonsense. It is a great journey, but it does not require any movement. Speaking as someone who did not go anywhere when I woke up, when I had my spiritual awakening. I had 3 young children to take care of, and they had a very toxic father. And going anywhere was out of the question. Well, I did go away for a weekend here and there, but that was all the journeying that I did, physically. Mentally and emotionally, spiritually, there was a lot going on. But it wasn't because I went anywhere. So if you can travel, that's great. If you can't physically travel, don't worry. You will still get to wherever it is you need to be, as long as you commit to this self-knowledge. All right. I am wishing you all the best. Oh, I'm going to straighten out the cards. And till next time.